welcome back to our YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, we are Trickfactory Customs, and behind me is a Mercedes G-Wagon, a G500 to be specific. That is a two-door, so it's very rare, and it is also on portal axles, which is really cool. We're going to be doing a bunch of work to this thing. We're gonna be giving it wide body fenders, so we're gonna need to create fenders for this. It comes with flares from the factory, but these ones are gonna be a lot bigger. And so we're also gonna be putting 37-inch tires on it, the B-locks to be specific. And we're gonna be doing a bunch more stuff to this thing, and it's gonna look amazing. So with that said, let us get started.
So I think we're gonna first work on relocating the e-brake cable on this car, just because where the portals sit, the e-brake cables hang too low. So when you drive over things, they get caught on the e-brake cable more than anything else. So I think we're gonna scan the rear hub, redesign the cable so the cable goes down alone and then it goes to the e-brake bracket. Yeah. The thing is, when you're actually off-roading, this is the first thing that's getting caught. We're gonna make a cable that goes down this way. Yeah. And then it pulls upwards instead of going that
side to side. Yeah.
So right now, this thing is a stand-up piece of flat bar that can just bend. So by turning the bracket this way and pulling this way, you're trying to pull the bracket, the piece of metal the hard way.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot stronger. So they literally have that piece of metal positioned in the weakest possible version of itself.
Yeah.
So we got the big brain on it, and he's gonna fix it.
So right now we're just making the cup holders for the G-Wagon. I think we're gonna utilize this existing space that's there. So we'll just scan it, we'll design it so it's so we can wrap it in leather or different fabric, so it'll look clean.
While Alex worked on creating the new e-brake cable bracket, Rob began working on creating the one-off wide body fender flares for the G-Wagon. And to do this, he started by modifying some stock flares.
Took quite a bit of time to get the paint and the gel coat and everything off outside, clean up the inside. So you can see I still got a lot more hand cleaning to do. I need to prepare these surfaces, otherwise the new fiberglass won't stick to it at all. Because I want to extend these. We're making a one-piece extended G-Wagon flare. So I'm going to cut this flange off, mount the flange to the body, and then position the outer edge. On this one, it's going to be 4 inches wider than what it is. So it'll be somewhere out here. We know how much clearance we need for the flares, especially in the front because they need to turn. Allows us to make the flares according to the size of the tires, make sure there's clearance. This thing's 3 weeks away from being in Las Vegas at the G-Wagon meet down there.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I got the flares all marked out, and as you can tell, I've cut them apart. And this is the mounting flange, so where I'm at right now, tape out the body. I'm gonna screw this mounting flange onto there, and then I'm gonna take my hot glue gun, some popsicle sticks or tongue depressors, and I'll connect the dots between the flange and the flare and create the distance that I want. And once I have that securely in place, I'll probably unscrew it, take it over to my bench, and then make a solid, I'll form a piece of metal, probably to go within from one piece to the other, and create a backing plate for me to do all my fiberglass work on top of. example of one of my form pieces. So this was a waxed surface so this yellow part right here was actually on the back side. So that's got a nice slick waxy surface. I fiberglassed it and then I could peel this thing right off. All that tongue depressor, hot glue, masking tape work was simply there to create the form. Any way that you can create a form is gonna be a way that you can create the final result. Like you could use masking tape and chipboard, cardboard, mask, you know, and do it that way if you want. Like I've seen plenty of people do it like that too. I just used tongue depressors on this because I knew I had, you know, compound angles and things kind of were getting funky, and the tongue depressors allowed me to create a shape that followed that pretty organically. That was stage one. I just finished grinding off all these pieces from that, and we'll start stage two right away, which is putting another layer of glass on the top side, a thin layer with a filler, like a filler additive into the resin to fill any voids after I pick them all open. The rear ones were widened by 4 inches. The front ones were widened by 3.5. We almost have the final result.
This thing is a monster truck.
Oh, I know, it's so tall.
There's a few bolt-on things we're doing. So I installed the spare tire carrier yesterday. We have some cages for the tail light, like a lot of body armor and stuff like that for off-roading. This is gonna be one of those like purpose-built vehicles, which is pretty sick. It's got
So
portals
sick.
and stuff like that. Doing some paint, a little bit of paint touch-up. Yeah, I think there's a few interior bits and stuff like that.
There were lots of rock chips on the windshield area, which is a very common issue with G-Wagons because of their boxy design, so we had to get that taken care of. After spending some time redesigning the e-brake cable bracket in CAD, Alex then sent it off to get it laser cut. So last we saw, Alex was designing them,
Okay, come on.
or you were helping Alex design
This
them.
is a team effort, man.
No respect,
right?
Oh my god.
They take my ideas, they put it in CAD, and all of a sudden I'm just completely
Last
out
I
of
saw,
the picture.
Alex was running the place and doing everything,
Yeah, I know,
and then
right? I don't
we
even
just
know why
showed
I'm
up.
here.
I know.
I know, yeah.
We laser cut brackets out of much more robust material, so we changed the angle and the way of the poles and gave it more leverage and a beefier bracket, so this should work. Just had to correct the internet because we keep thinking that you design everything around here.
Yo, team effort, like you said, team effort. We're a team.
That's what he does when you're not on camera. He's like,
So, if you look at the way that cable's run, then I'm gonna put this up here in a second and you'll see how we improved upon the design. So now this is mine and Alex's design. So the cable's out of the way and we have a lot more leverage on the brake. And then we made a cool little armored piece for this to cover it up so it can't get damaged. This is a little skid plate that we made for our new e-brake.
We're scanning more stuff on this car. We're gonna install this ARB air compressor. So we got the tank here. We got the compressor in there, over there as well. So our goal with that is to tuck everything in this cavity over here of the car. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a couple brackets to hold everything in place. And then our goal is to just use the factory, this cover at the end to tuck everything in place. And then we're gonna have a couple fans in the back to pull some air through so it doesn't get too hot in there. And then yeah, our goal is to just tuck everything in place, make it look seamless. We're gonna make a push panel in here, make it look more OEM, and then install the airline. Probably, you know, mount one there, and then there's gonna be a switch like this.
Pre-cutting all my fiberglass pieces to lay up on these plugs that I created. So these are one-off pieces, and this is some foam, some pink insulation foam that I shaped, covered in masking tape. They'll get waxed, and it's best to cut all your shapes before you start, so you're not panicking. This is the G-Wagon flare that we made wider. This, I'm gonna end up cutting this section off, and this is gonna get grafted on. It's gonna be an extension for this super wide G-Wagon flare that then pockets into or around the factory rear bumper. Stops debris from getting in there.
This is what it used to look like. So why didn't you just use this?
Because this reacts, normal fiberglass resin reacts negatively to this. It will deform it, and you just can't do that. So the masking tape just kind of gives it like a protective layer. I just have some really old mold release wax that I'm gonna just apply to it, and the fiberglass will pop right off of that. So it's just a super simple thing to do. Masking tape's cheap. This stuff right here is real cheap. Rigid foam insulation that I got from a Home Depot. It's really, really easy to shape. You can sand it with sandpaper. It's really, really nice. So if you are looking to create anything in fiberglass, this pink insulation is a really good place to start. You can take this and actually glue it or bond it right to the surface of your car. Say if you want to make a wide body, you could just put this right on there. Take a knife, any kind of knife, just carve it, and then, like, you see how much effort that
Nice
was.
curve, yeah.
You can
Cool.
smooth it all out. And then a little bit of masking tape, some sort of wax on the surface, you're ready to go. The extensions that I shaped in foam, so they're gonna sort of encapsulate the end of the bumper here. So that's what this line right here represents, is the bumper's gonna get cut, and then it fits into a little pocket that I made in fiberglass. So now I can go and cut this.
When Rob was finished creating the flares, they were handed off to Brett and Spencer to smooth them out and get them painted.
We're putting the flare to body seal onto these freshly painted flares. Brand new, factory Mercedes. These were aftermarket flares. There's a little bit of a difference in the depth of how this U-channel clicks into place. There's a bit of a difference in depth, so we're just modifying these just a touch, just to accommodate for that little difference. And then we're gonna put them on and load this thing onto the trailer and head to Vegas. So we're done. The extended width fender flares that we made, they're all in place. We did something really special on how they pocket into the rear bumper. And yeah, man, she looks good. I'm proud of it. We're loading it up on the trailer. Tim's gonna take this one. He's headed to another guy's house to pick up another G-Wagon that's on portals and 40-inch tall tires. It's a long wheelbase, so it's a 4-door. And then down to Vegas for the G-Wagon event. So it's down to the wire, but we pulled it off.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to see this thing going in the desert and off-roading, stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.